You need to cut it.
What's up, guys? Welcome once again to the Save Continue podcast. My name is Ryan Robinson. That's Tom Shelby.
Look at it!
Shanee Howard.
Sup?
How's it going, guys? Shanee, you're back from Renaissance Fest. You had a great time.
Renaissance Festival.
You dunked a winch.
I did not. Berto did on his first shot, though. Because
Yeah.
this weekend is the actual weekend I went to Renaissance Festival not 2 weeks ago when you said I did.
Did not wear a costume.
Not this year, because we were camping overnight, and the rule I have for camping at a festival is don't bring anything you would care about losing.
Yeah.
And I spent a lot of money on costumes.
That piece is really going right through me.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
Right before we started recording, I cashed in some points. 250 points to get
Pizza points.
250 pizza points.
How many
at
book
Pizza
reports? How many book reports did you have to do for that?
Oh, you remember that?
What was that called?
With the stickers on the button?
Book It. It was called the Book It program.
Yeah.
Yeah. I cashed in, got us a free pizza. It's kind of hit me as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to soldier through it.
So if we cut this show short,
It's because we're pooping.
it's because we're pooping.
You only have 2 bathrooms, so someone's taking the sink.
Yeah.
I've pooped in the yard before.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Is that true?
Not this yard, but a yard.
Right on. Hey, so Shanee,
Yes.
we missed you last week.
I was here last week.
The week before, I mean. And I missed you today when we were doing the news.
I missed you guys too.
We did check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a fighting game that I think that you would have thought was really cute had you seen it.
I'll have to check it out.
There's a little man, and he's in an armor suit. And he was fighting a bunny rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
It
The boy.
was a boy. Was the bunny rabbit a boy as well?
I don't know.
I mean, does it matter?
I suppose not. In the grand scheme of things, does anything matter?
No.
But, yeah, it's called Battle Fantasia.
Mm-hmm.
You probably haven't heard of it.
No.
But Tom says it's a really good game to get into if you're not good at fighting games, which I am not.
It's a good game to teach you fighting games. Yeah.
Yeah, because it has things that will translate to most other fighting games. Am I wrong in that?
No, you're right.
Yeah. And before you got here, me and Tom did we did some gameplay videos to carry us over into the spooky month of October. Hang on with the theme.
Spooks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we played Amnesia last game.
Wasn't feeling it.
It wasn't super spooks, but I got a couple spooks.
You
in.
guys both got spooked, all right? Let's
got
not play like you weren't spooked.
Okay, hold
There's
on.
video evidence on this channel of you
I
guys
just said
getting
I got
spooked.
spooked only a couple times.
Yeah,
I want to get spooked constantly.
Yeah, I mean that's why you play the games.
Constant spooks.
We had
I don't think you can handle that.
we had some spooks, right? I won't say that we didn't, because we did. But the fact of the matter is, there was too much other shit going on, because we got lost in the castle, so that got kind of boring. And then we got stuck trying to get through a door, and that got boring. And then by then, I just wasn't into it. I need like a constant stream of spooky things happening.
You can't handle that, right?
I feel like I can. Like show me a time when I haven't been able to handle the constant. Like yeah, I get scared, but like I soldier through it.
You don't just get scared, though. You get, like, horrified.
Oh.
Okay, so we played Stories Untold, and I only got startled once.
Sure, but I don't feel like that game's really that scary, you know?
It's kind of Halloween-y though.
Yeah.
I will say I got a little nervous when we were playing Zombie Army Trilogy.
Mm-hmm. Also not a scary game.
It's not a scary game, but I mean, there's a lot of zombies.
Yeah.
And they come up behind is kind of startling.
Yeah.
I want us to do Outlast. I can't really handle that game so well, but I'm willing to do
We'll probably do that. We'll probably do Alien as well.
Yeah. Should you ever play Outlast?
No.
Okay. So it's one of those games where
You know how things are scarier when they're naked?
yeah, you know
That's
that?
Outlast.
Like
Yeah.
you ever heard that whole thing where like if you want to avoid getting in a fight with a guy, you just got to get naked.
Yeah, I didn't know how effective that would be. I don't know. I don't want to test this theory.
Imagine that's opposite, and the guy is already naked when he shows up, and he's chasing you with a knife.
That'd be pretty scary. He obviously gives no.
And there's 2 of them because he's a twin.
I mean, they obviously give no fucks. So, and I give a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
I give so many fucks that's terrifying.
Yeah. So I played. Okay. So Outlast is this game where you are a journalist and you are investigating some kind of
A really stupid journalist.
Yeah. You go into this abandoned. Abandoned is it
Yeah,
abandoned?
I mean, there's residents, but it's basically abandoned, right?
This very well it's a mental hospital that's not kept up very well.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people there and who are like obviously they're a little nuts, but they're just roaming around.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically,
Are all of them naked?
no, just
the twins.
Just the twins. Tom and I have dubbed them the Dick Brothers. 'Cause you can see their dicks.
Is there?
Remember when like
is
old
there a
school
slider
Daffy
for that?
Duck used to go crazy?
Old school Daffy Duck, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or actually, Donald Duck. Donald Duck, whenever like he starts like getting to that, when he goes into a flurry and goes crazy, and starts swearing.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about old school Daffy Duck when he starts like laughing like a fucking loon.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like that. So the game is basically you're a stupid journalist, and you go into this mental hospital because you want to find the truth, right? Because there's some kind of conspiracy going on. You want to find the truth.
Because that's what all journalists do.
It's
yes.
out there.
Yeah, it's out there.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
thing about it is you don't fight,
Okay.
but you can die. So when you run into trouble, you have to run or hide, sometimes both.
All right.
So there's a lot of that, and there's a lot of there are a lot of areas where it's dark, and the only light you have is the night vision on your camera, but that drains the battery. So that's a limited resource as well.
All right.
It's scared me on more than one occasion, to the point where I won't play that game by myself. I'm down to play it with you guys, but
You know what we should do? We should do a playthrough of PT because I still have that.
Yeah.
And that made you scream like such a bitch.
You ever play that?
Yeah, I did.
I don't do well with that stuff.
I mean, y'all saw me playing Amnesia: Dark Descent.
Mm-hmm.
I just kept feeling like I went through everything. I'm like, I can't figure out what they fucking want me to do on this turnaround.
Yeah.
And nothing is changing.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden something would happen, and I'm like, and it'll be over. And I'm like, what the fuck did I just do?
Yeah.
What did I not do?
Yeah. I don't even understand like what is the threat in that game? Like, are you escaping something? Or like is the castle haunted?
It's like a Silent Hill thing, so
Is it?
Like, I don't know what the conflict is in that game. Like, why am I in the castle? I don't know if I slept through that, but
I feel like it was explained. We were just too chatty.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, it's like very, it's critically acclaimed, but I don't know. We played this other game, some Indonesian horror game.
Oh yeah, we didn't post the Let's Play for it because we got stuck.
Yeah, and I asked Tom, I was like, do you think the game was broken or we're just stupid? And Tom thinks that we might be just stupid.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, it's a possibility.
You got scared several times. So the game's like sort of like Fatal Frame, and like this lady with a stretched out face, like the Asians like to do, would pop up in the camera, in the viewfinder, you know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Ryan would get spooked every time. But it's funny because if you stop and look at her, like she's very poorly designed and does not look scary at all.
But the whole thing is just that she shows up for such a short period of time.
It's surprising.
I haven't played Fatal Frame in a while. I remember Fatal Frame 2 was really scary. I feel like, and I watched someone play Fatal Frame 1 a while back, and I felt like that was less scary. I'm not sure though.
I played Fatal Frame PS2.
Yeah.
And then I remember being real scared.
Yeah.
It was real scary. It was like a daytime game. I couldn't play it once the streetlights turn on.
But that sucks because like you're supposed to play it in the dark. Like you have to play it at night when
Well,
it's
I'm a
scary.
little bitch. I'm a
but
little
it's
bitch who
hard.
couldn't handle
but
it.
at the same time, like the paradox is that you just can't. Right? You can't.
It's super scary,
yeah,
and
I'm
I
the
didn't
same
want to like stop playing it, and then like there'd be lights off, and me be like, I'm not going into this area.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the first Silent, like even for all its like bad, like what is now would be considered bad textures and graphics or whatever, I'm pretty sure that game would still scare me.
Yeah.
I remember Silent Hill 3 scared me a lot. Like, all the Silent Hills scared me. I can't play those games by myself.
They're not all scary, though. There's, like, Book of Memories? Is that what it's called?
No, it's not Book of
No,
Memories.
Shattered Memories is a different game. Shattered Memories is a remake of the first one. I think it's Book of Memories that is like a top-down dungeon-crawling ARPG, and it's Silent Hill.
Okay, that's...
Yeah.
This weekend, Friday night at the hotel, I was just flipping through channels and came across Silent Hill Revelations 3D. And I have never seen
Oh, yeah,
and
that
I have
movie.
never seen it.
Yeah.
Man, is that garbage.
Yeah, I actually went on a date.
Yeah, Book of Memories.
I went on a date to that movie.
That
was I'd realized about an hour in that it was a bad idea.
I didn't watch like the first like half hour, 40 minutes. I just went on the Wikipedia page and like read through to where I was.
Yeah.
And there's like that doll thing.
Doll thing.
When she is like in the warehouse after she meets the mother of Alessa.
Yeah, Dahlia.
Meets her in the courtyard, and then she goes in, and it's like this warehouse thing in the basement.
Yeah.
And like it's like a spider doll thing.
Man, it's been so long.
It's like a mannequin.
Man.
Yeah, it's
Ryan and I were doing a Dead Rising mannequin only playthrough.
How was that?
It didn't go so well.
It did not.
Uh,
We found fun stuff we wanted to use.
yeah. I dressed Frank up as a little boy, and
With a Servbot head.
With a Servbot head, and Tom was like, maybe the zombies will leave you alone because they're not gonna mess with a kid, and you look like a kid. And I was like, yeah, let me test that, and then I almost immediately died. They chomped me.
Hey guys, what year was Pac-Man originally released?
1972. Boom.
Shanae?
73.
Shanae's closer. 1980. You win, Shanae.
Oh no, that was cheap. But I'll take it.
Okay.
You're on a
2-win
streak here.
streak. Yes, heating up.
Did I ever have a streak? I think I only do
You
like.
did.
I don't think, no.
I don't think so.
Probably
Like,
not.
I get one and then I lose and then I get another one.
No, I lost to you 2 weeks in a row.
Saboteur. That's the last one. That's the last time I won, I think.
Hmm.
And then, okay, I wonder what Shanae's what she's gonna plug up.
2 boobs.
2 boobs.
I guess I don't have a lot of scary games, but then again, like, I feel like you probably have a lot of horror games, Tom, that you don't consider scary because nothing scares you.
No, but I still like the atmosphere and feeling of those games. Games have scared me. I've told you before, like Resident Evil 2 is the first game to scare me. Like legit freaked me out,
Was it that one specific part though?
Yeah, it's just when the thing crawls across the window in the police station.
Yeah.
But like I'd never seen anything like that in a video game, so it freaked me the fuck out.
Sure. Revisiting the first Resident Evil, the Resident Evil 1 remake, a couple years ago.
Yeah. Remake.
Yeah, the remake. That actually scared the shit out of me, and like it's funny because I remember I rented the first Resident Evil game when I was like 11 or so.
Yeah.
And I couldn't play it because at that time I was like super afraid of zombies. Like I couldn't deal with it. And then I got older and I was like, Resident Evil 1's fine. It's like I'm not afraid of it anymore. And then I played the remake, and that game scared the shit out of me.
You know what's awesome about that game is that like they didn't really need to do anything to that GameCube remake. Like that still holds up. The GameCube version of that game still looks good. You know, they could have just released it as is.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't, but they could have.
I remember they marketed like. Here's the thing: is that like I feel like Resident Evil 4 had some parts in it that I could consider like legit scary. But then like I feel like they tried to keep that marketing going, like the whole marketing the game as a horror, marketing the franchise as a horror franchise when Resident Evil 5 came out.
Yeah.
It's like so much. It's just like so. It's
5 was more action. 6 was more action.
So it's like it's hard to see them in that. It was hard to see them in that light.
Yeah.
But then I feel, and then they return. They feel like they returned to like their horror roots in 7.
Yeah. So I've had 7 since day one. I haven't played it.
To try.
Well, so Mikami did 1 and 4, and then after 4 is when he left survival horror. He stopped doing it until The Evil Within.
Yeah.
But 5 is a great game. It's not a great horror game, but it's a great game.
Yeah.
Unless you don't have someone to play with and you're letting the AI just fuck shit up.
Yeah.
Sheva's okay. She's all right.
That mansion DLC is fantastic. I really love that.
No, I don't know. I jump a lot in general, but definitely when I play games and I'm like into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely on Resident Evil 4, not anything like scared me, but I definitely got surprised a lot, and I was just like, "Ooh, don't bite me!" I forgot that. I forgot about the boulder scene in the beginning of Resident Evil 4.
Mash it.
And I was playing on the Wii version of it.
That's the best version.
And you have to like go back and forth.
Yeah.
But I forgot about it, and I thought it was just gonna be a cutscene. So like put the Wii remote down. I went to go get a drink real fast, and like as I turn around, I just see this boulder coming, and just like no, and that's probably the most reaction, like actually jumping, because like I physically just got super tense that I was just gonna die. But nothing like super scary. Fatal. I don't think I've ever been scared really in any of the Resident Evil games. Just more annoyed when you.
But you probably weren't playing like Resident Evil 1 through 3 when they released.
No, I wasn't. Yeah, like the first, like I said, first one, I can remember like being like super scary was Fatal Frame.
Yeah.
But I've gotten scared in like non-scary games.
Like what?
Like the first Kingdom Hearts. There's like a giant shadow in the beginning. Before you get your Keyblade. Yeah. And I didn't realize you weren't supposed to fight him without your Keyblade, and I just kept trying to fight him with a wooden stick, and it wasn't working because you're supposed to go past him into this like cove and get your weapon.
Sure.
Yeah, I just never did that, so I just kept having nightmares about him because I couldn't figure out how to beat him because I'm an idiot.
Was Goofy in those nightmares?
No, just the giant shadow. You don't meet Goofy yet at that point.
Okay.
It's in the very beginning.
Okay.
Yuck.
I don't know. I feel like there was a time where I was playing, like when I was like really really heavy into Bloodborne, and like I usually don't find like werewolves and things like that like creepy, but
yeah, but the fucking character models in that game, like they did a really good job with the character models in that game.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Like the whole like, and that makes me think of The Order.
Yeah.
Like there's some stuff that you described to me that I was like, man, that sounds scary as hell. Like,
and it's not like The Order's an action game. Yeah. It's really not that scary, you know.
I don't think, but I think like there are certain things that like I would look at them like that's at the very least creepy.
Yeah, well, like you're in a warehouse and like they're shipping vampires, so it's just like crates and crates and crates, like hundreds, thousands of them full of vampires.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
That sounded scary to me.
Yeah. I do like that game. For those listening, watching, like I know most people hate it. I think it's a pretty good game.
You hate it because it's short.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Dante's Inferno also got me on a couple parts.
Oh yeah,
because
for sure.
I watched the animated thing first, so when we're like playing through and they're like the souls, I kept thinking they're gonna like
Beatrice.
We're in like
Love
pain
it.
And stuff, but they were background and like just background, you know.
Sure.
But I thought they were trying to reach out for me, so there was a lot of times I was just like, ooh.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't need to do it because they weren't ever going to touch me.
Sure.
Right.
But for a while, I thought there was a lot of stealth involved with this, until I realized that was not the case.
Until you realized it was God of War.
Until I got to like the less level, and then I was like, oh, the doors are vaginas, nothing scary, I'm good.
Yeah. Unless you're scared of vaginas, I guess.
Sure. You said it right.
I like one of those things is one of the things about that game is it uses imagery like really really well, in a way that like a lot of these things were like they made it like the game was never outright scary, but it was just
unsettling.
Yeah, it was unsettling, like especially like certain circles, like when you got to like even the beginning of the game when you're like in purgatory and those fucking dead babies.
Yeah.
See, and that's what I like. I like games that make you feel weird, right? Yeah. Like Hellblade is not a scary game, but when you're arriving on that boat and the voices are talking to you and you see the bodies and all that, like you feel unsettled. Yeah. Devil Daggers gives me the same feeling. The original Quake gives me the same feeling.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's good stuff.
The thing about Hellblade though is like it's made unsettling by like, and I feel like this effect isn't there if you're not playing the game with headphones, but
Yeah, or at least significantly less so.
yeah. But like when you're playing the headphones and those voices are talking to you, and it's like that shit's in stereo, so they're coming at you like on both sides, and it's like
Well, you should watch how they recorded that. It's very interesting.
it's overwhelming.
It is, and it never ends.
Yeah.
It never stops. It might, not be as intense at some points,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But like there are certain parts where like it's just like it's
Well, and then even I've not finished that game, but like early on when she dies the first time and she gets the thing on her hand growing up her arm and she's like fucking scratching at it and the camera's panning around, like unsettling stuff like that. I like that shit a lot.
Yeah.
We've talked about Double Daggers, like that's not a scary game.
Sure.
The graphics look dated, but like I feel queasy playing that game.
Yeah. And it's hard to and I remember watching you play that and I asked, is that an intentional side effect or is that just my reaction to the game?
Yeah. But I think if you and I both feel that way with that game, I don't think it's just like a coincidence,
Yeah. I don't know, and I feel like it's hard, it's hard to make a horror game that, like a straight up horror game that kind of markets to a wide audience, because like our definition of what's scary now has changed so significantly.
And it's like subjective.
Sure.
Well, it's funny though, is like if you think about some of the best games in the survival horror genre, it's not just horror. It's horror and action, but like mixed together well, right? Resident Evil 4, Dead Space, things like that. Like those are very much action games.
Yeah.
I think it's
They put them together well, whereas Resident Evil 6 obviously doesn't so well. Resident Evil 5, even though that's a great game, doesn't feel like a horror game at all.
Yeah.
I think they use the unsettling atmosphere as a way to help motivate you throughout the game to continue forward.
Yeah.
Like, even if you don't have a main purpose at that moment and you don't really know where you're going to or where the story's leading, you know that this doesn't feel good and it feels very uncomfortable and it's just like, I'm gonna keep going because I don't like this.
Yeah.
And that makes that helps with the adrenaline and have that fear factor in there. And it's nice to see like a well-made game like that. And yeah, a lot of them aren't gonna be horror, but they're using horror aspects to make their game better, which I think is really nice.
There aren't so in Hellblade, I don't think that's a horror game at all. But there's a part in the game, kind of midway through, where everything around you is dark, and there are these monsters lurking around, and if they touch you or if they catch you, you're dead. And so just the moving through that is so it was nerve-wracking, and it was unpleasant, but in a good way, I guess.
Right.
Because to Shanee's point, it's the point where I was I just want to get through this as quickly as I can.
Well, it's like with Devil Daggers, I was telling you how that game made me feel, and your first response was you like feeling that way? Mm-hmm. And I was like, in the context of playing this game, yeah, I do,
Yeah. I don't know, I say it, and a lot of times I say that, I want a scary game. Mm-hmm. And I'm very easily scared, but at the same time, I'm having a good time.
Right.
It's just it's easy to scare me, so I feel like I get my money's worth out of these things more than a lot of people that I know.
Sure.
For instance, I'm still unsure whether or not Prey is a horror game.
I'd say Prey is as much of a horror game as The Thing is a horror movie.
Okay.
Yeah. It's on that edge for sure. But then again, I've played very little Prey.
Yeah. A lot of and that's what I like. I like a game where the horror comes from just atmosphere, mm-hmm. right? Because you're walking through the space station, and it's just the atmosphere is what scares you, right? And kind of the whole uncertainty of what's gonna happen next. Because if they just kept throwing shit at me the entire time,
right,
then it would lose its effect.
Well, and you like praise like you're walking through a corridor and like, did that just move?
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah,
And that's a cool gameplay. Like that's a scary gameplay mechanic, and there's not a lot of scary gameplay mechanics.
Sure.
You know.
And it's hard, and I feel like it's hard to do right, and also with games like Silent Hill or Resident Evil, and I think Resident Evil had kind of gotten away from that by the time Resident Evil 5 came around.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as like pacing is a huge thing for me anyway, and when that pace is interrupted by like a really hard puzzle, and at that point I'm no longer scared, I'm just frustrated.
Yeah.
But
I think that existed from game one.
Yeah, sure. And that was a huge thing for me with like Silent Hill, and like to the point where I feel like that was kind of something that they were cognizant of, because they allow you to adjust the difficulty of the action sequences as well as the puzzles, like independently of each other. But yeah, that was always the whole thing, is like, in order for me to like maintain that feeling, like the pacing has to be there, so I can move at a brisk pace. Like there are things that'll stop me for a second.
Yeah.
But like getting stopped up on a puzzle for like an hour is just
so something more like Dead Space.
Yeah, because like Dead Space, like it usually doesn't go much farther than, all right, I have this thing, I just need to go back to where I was and put it in that thing.
Right.
And like when I'm making my way back, some other shit.
Making my way downtown.
Yeah.
Walking fast.
Is that lady's name?
Vanessa
Carlton?
There you go.
Is it?
Yeah. Carlton Banks.
Yeah.
Have either of you played Shattered Memories?
No.
No?
That's the remake of 1, right?
It's the remake of 1. It came out on PS2, Wii, PSP, and like it doesn't play like most Silent Hill games. Like you're at a therapist's office in between like gameplay sessions, you know, and depending on things that go on in those sessions, it affects what happens in game. So it'll be like, you know, color this picture of this house or whatever, and you color it, and you find your house in the game, and it's like those colors, you know, things like that. Or even like character models will change depending on how you've answered things. But like, it's the first game, and I'm sure there were games before it to do this, but it's the first time that I played a game that was a horror game in which you could not fight back. You could only run.
Sure.
You know, and yeah, I liked it a lot.
That was the whole thing with that, is like you couldn't fight back.
Yeah, you're not hitting anything in that game. You're not shooting anything in that game. You're running. That's it.
That was the whole thing, and I think that's kind of where the horror, where like that fear comes from, right? With like games like that, or Outlast, is like you're powerless to fight back, and like,
which I think is dumb in some games, but in games like Silent Hill, I think it makes sense. In Outlast, I'm like, well, you know, even if I'm not like some fighting expert, I'd probably pick up that pipe over there, you know, but
enter condemned.
Right, exactly. But like, depending on the context of the game, I think it can be good.
Yeah.
Alien Isolation, right? Like, you can fight back. It's just not going to do you very well. Like, you're not going to make much progress fighting back, and like that makes sense with that story.
So like,
you know?
what is like, okay, and that's I always kind of wondered that about that game. Like, what is the point? Like, if fighting back doesn't do you any good, like what?
Well, as far as like weapons that you're getting, you're using it mostly for the what are the things called in that game? I want to say handyman. I know that's not the working Joes. Yeah. You're using it mostly for the working Joes. Yeah. You can use it on the xenomorph, but it's not going to really help you much. It might give you enough time to get away. Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah, and I like those games with the sequences like this happened in Outlast when you were watching me play it like a few years back, when like I ran into a room and then like I hid under the bed.
Oh yeah.
And then like I just saw his feet.
I think that's the first time I watched you stream a game ever.
Oh man, I watched his feet like walk by the bed. I was like, that's Tommy. He's in here. And then like
he was in there.
And then he just stood there for a second, and then like really fast he like got down to the floor and looked right at me, and like I just screamed as loud as I could into the mic. It's like things like that, you know. And,
yeah.
And I feel like that's like super uncommon.
Yeah, I think like adaptive AI is important for games like that, because like with Outlast or even like the Evil Within, once you've played those sections once, you know exactly what's going to happen, right? The Evil Within, when you start that game and that butcher guy is looking for you in that first locker and he doesn't find you, every time you play the game after that, you know he's not going to find you, you know? Yeah. Whereas with the Xenomorph in Isolation, it's adaptive, so you don't know what the fuck the thing's going to do, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck? We actually had some pretty fun horror games because of like you are like more involved with playing it and action wise. The Calling, I played some of that. I checked it out. It felt like playing like a horror movie. It wasn't like super actiony,
Yeah.
but it was pretty spooky. Alone in the Dark was on that console too, I believe.
Yeah, there was an Alone in the Dark. And I don't know if it was like that reboot game that was just called Alone in the Dark or...
I think it was the reboot game. I'm not positive though. But as far as the Wii goes, like there's Resident Evil games on there and Dead Space games on there that are fantastic that aren't available anywhere else. Yeah.
Extraction's Wii one, right? I feel like we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's that on-rail shooter, I think.
And the Resident Evil games are on rails as well, but like a lot of people agree Resident Evil 4, the best place to play is the Wii because of the controls, you know.
That's on rails?
No, Resident Evil 4, no.
Okay.
I always wanted to play the Obscura games on there.
Well, you're in luck, Shanee. I recently bought Obscure 1 and 2, and we'll be doing a Let's Play of that probably next week.
Oh, nice.
So those games are like... The first Obscure was loosely inspired by The Faculty, which is a terrible movie. And, like, it's
I'm
very...
unfamiliar with it.
Yeah, it's very 90s. Josh Hartnett, right? The Faculty?
Josh Hartnett,
Oh,
Usher.
He was a
Usher.
dreamboat.
Basically, the whole thing is the teachers are aliens.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, it's very, very 90s, and like the music is very 90s, and it's like Resident Evil, but there's co-op, and there's like really no puzzle solving, and I think it'll be fun.
All right.
There's another game, like, because I like some of those games that are like, they're not supposed to be scary. They're just like spooky. It's got spooky things in it, but it's like supposed to be funny. Like there was a game that I was looking at on your Steam. It's like a side scroller. Final
Exam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things like that. Or there was this other game. Did either of you guys ever heard of a game called Dead Block?
Nope. I know Boom Blocks.
Yeah, it's not Boom Block.
Is it like a spooky boom blocks?
No, it's not like spooky Boom Blocks. It's like basically the whole thing is like it's like a zombie tower defense game where
Like Plants vs. Zombies?
not like that, but
Oh.
like you would be in a building and you gotta barricade it and also set up traps while you're inside of it, and like you gotta survive like each level like that. It's pretty cool. But other games don't do it so well. Like that game that Blood, Bullets, and Cannoli or whatever.
That game looks so boring.
It's not a good time. It's not a good time at all.
Blood, Bullets, and Cannoli?
Yeah.
So basically in that game, you're a mobster.
Ah.
Yeah, and like the 40s.
I'm guessing Italian.
Yeah, and the whole thing is like all of a sudden like everybody is zombies and you're the only guy who can stop the zombies, so you're stopping the zombies. And it's a side 2D shoot 'em up. It's just real bad. But then you have games that do it well, like what was that Red Dead DLC called? Zombie Nightmare. That was very that DLC,
Undead Nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that doesn't sound right.
That was really, really cool.
One of the highest praised DLCs ever. It's like that and Minerva's Den, and they're both kind of spooky.
A lot of people liked one of the Grand Theft Auto ones. Was it the Ballad of Gay Tony?
Ballad of Gay Tony people liked.
Also, a lot of people liked that.
Lost in the Damned.
The Borderlands DLC.
Sure, but like as far as
that?
like critical praise and sales wise, like Undead Nightmare and Minerva's Den are like two of the
Dr.
highest.
Zed's something. But that was all that zombies, right?
Yeah, it's dumb.
Thunderdome.
Yeah. Mad Moxie's Megadome or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah.
know. It was something like that.
I was like, I can't remember the titles either. So I was like,
Yeah.
I know, we know what we're talking about.
Yeah. I like what Call of Duty had been doing with their zombies mode, where they were like, well, they had experimented a little bit with like putting a little bit of a narrative on them.
Zombies is great, man.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people that buy COD just for zombies.
Which makes me think like, why not just sell the zombies?
Separately?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I would buy that.
I mean, people already do, right? Like, that's what most horde mode games are.
Yeah.
Killing Floor, Left 4 Dead, whatever. Like, it's just a different type of horde mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I remember, I think it was Black Ops 3, where they started, they did a whole thing of, like, it was supposed to be like this narrative, and like it had Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
And some of these other famous Italian dudes, like playing as like inmates or something, trying to escape like a zombie infested prison. That really seemed cool. I liked what they did with I believe it was Infinite Warfare, with like that throwback, like that 80s themed one. That seemed really cool. And me and Tom were talking about this when we were doing Dead Rising. Like, you know, people talk quite often about how like they're tired of zombies.
Yeah.
And they don't like, they're burnt out on zombies. But
They're burnt out on fun things.
yeah. But I mean, let's be real.
It's too much fun for me. I don't like it.
Yeah. Like, I can't think of a time where someone said, "Hey, here's a new zombie game coming out," and I wasn't immediately interested. Like, not all zombie games are good, but like if I know that's got zombies in it, like, I'm interested to know more about it.
Yeah, well, I was really surprised
I
when...
don't know. I think like for a while after Left 4 Dead 2, I was like burnt out on zombies, and it was a zombie game. I'm like, I'm just good. Like,
I don't know.
Like, I like not that like it necessarily. I was like, oh, this is gonna be a bad game, but I was like, oh, this is a game I'm not interested in playing right now. I got more into it and more like excited about zombies at like a couple years after that. But there was a while I was just like, I've been playing zombie games.
Well, like when Ben showed, I keep forgetting the fucking name, Days Gone. When Ben shows Days Gone, and like so many of my friends are like, oh, it's another zombie game, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Those are like massive amount of
It
zombies.
looks awesome, and you've never seen a game, like name one game that has that many, not people on screen, but that many independent AI moving that quickly.
Yeah.
You know?
And they're called freakers, guys. So let's get it straight.
Oh yeah, they're not. Yeah, no.
Like, I'm ready for that game.
Yeah, same.
No, it looked super interesting. I liked the newer trailer where it like we're showing like the dam being blocked up or whatever.
Yeah.
And going through and like seeing that those were options to get through it. I hope that there's different ways to do it. So
There is. Behind closed doors for that game at E3, they showed the same thing that they showed on stage, but played in several different ways.
Oh, nice. I should probably watch that.
You can't watch that. It's behind closed doors today.
Yeah, you weren't invited, man.
Oh, well, I thought that you. Okay, whatever. I thought you had like a thing of it.
No.
I just assume everything gets leaked. Nothing's behind doors.
Yeah.
Doors don't mean anything.
Yeah.
They're social construct.
They do if you want to keep your job as a games journalist.
Did either of you play Until Dawn?
Yeah. Good
So-
call.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Playlink. Like, that's going to be so fucking fun. So, the team behind Until Dawn, what are they called?
I don't remember.
Fuck. I forget their name. Anyways,
Look it up, Shanee.
they've got
Alright.
like 3 games being made right now. 2 of them are in the Until Dawn universe. One of them is a VR game. The other one is a Playlink game. And like, I cannot wait to play that game with a group
Supermassive
of people.
games.
Supermassive, yeah. Yeah, that game, like, it's in the Until Dawn universe, and like, it's how we played Until Dawn.
Sure.
You were controlling it, but we made the decisions as a group.
Yeah.
I didn't
You
know
know?
the same group did a Doctor
Yeah.
Who game.
Yeah, I'm super psyched for Playlink.
The 2 VR games, Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, and Tumble VR, and then Hidden Agenda.
Yeah, Hidden Agenda, Tumble VR.
The
Rush of Blood was way earlier.
The Inpatient,
Inpatient.
and Bravo Team.
What's
Yes.
Inpatient?
It is part of, like, it's in the same universe as Until Dawn, but I think it's like many years before.
Okay.
It is 60 years before Until Dawn.
Yeah.
Right on.
And then Hidden Agenda didn't say anything.
I'm ready. I'm ready for Playlink.
It's a crime thriller.
Until Dawn, like, all of it, for me anyway, was jump scares.
I didn't think it was scary, but like, it's fun. I like watching crappy 90s campy horror movies,
Yeah, same.
you know?
Zombie U was pretty fun. I mean, then again, like, you're comparing it to the small collection of Wii U games.
Well, I mean, Zombie, they originally took the U out and released it on everything.
Yeah.
But I did not spend much time with it. I like the concept.
The concept is really cool.
I just
It's
didn't like the execution.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
the one, I think that the thing about Zombie is that if they had spent some time on that combat, I probably would have had more fun with it.
Sure.
I just thought the combat was not fun.
You know what's cool that you played
Huh?
that I didn't play? Dying Light. Like, the day-night cycle actually seems significant.
Yeah, it is.
And, like, when you're running from those guys and you turn around and see them chasing you,
Oh
that
my
was super
God.
cool. Super cool.
When me and Porter were playing Don't Starve together,
Play that.
like the day and night and seasons mattered a
Yeah.
lot in the game. And there's a lot of things that I didn't know existed because we didn't look up anything on the game. We just started playing it.
Sure.
And that would like jump out. I'm just like, these things exist. These things exist. What the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
Oh, I just remember being like, and like trying to set up traps that wouldn't work correctly because I didn't realize like certain things couldn't go into them.
Did either of you play Neverending Nightmare?
No.
No, what's it about?
I don't know what it's about. It's a side-scrolling game, and it looks like an Edward Gorey picture.
Okay.
But it's supposed to be pretty scary. It looks cool.
What about Little Nightmares?
Little Nightmares is cool. There's definitely some freaky shit in there. I wouldn't say it's necessary. I mean, I don't know. I've seen people that were scared by it, you know. But
I've never actually played it, but I've watched gameplay on Five Nights at Freddy's.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna say Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, Friday Night Lights.
Well,
Super spooks.
Um,
But that was also to see more jump scares. Like the only thing that made me like uncomfortable. The rest of it, I was just like, meh.
Little Nightmares is like, there's parts of it that, like, the character models in that game are very impressive, you know?
Yeah.
And like, there's a part towards the end where you're like going through like this dining hall and there's all these fat people like just stuffing their faces. It reminds me of the beginning of Spirited Away where the parents are eating, you know?
Yeah.
But then they see you and they start chasing you and it's intense, but I wouldn't really say it's that scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should play the Goosebumps games on a Let's Play.
Aren't they just hidden object games?
I don't know. I've never played any. Let's just play them.
Okay. I think they're just hidden object games.
They got spooky stuff in them.
Okay.
You ever read a Goosebumps book, Shanee?
Yeah.
Monster
bunch of
Blood.
them.
I loved Monster Blood when I was a kid.
And the ever-changing rules of Monster Blood and what it does.
What does Monster Blood do?
Well, it made the
Sometimes
hamster big.
Sometimes it makes you like super large. And sometimes it makes you evil and angry. And sometimes like the consistency is different too.
The last one I read that I can remember was about a mirror that made you invisible.
There's like a camera one like that. Like told that the Give Yourself Goosebumps books. I did one of those recently with my nephews because they needed to be entertained for a while.
What does Give Yourself Goosebumps?
So it's like an adventure book game, and so like you got options every now and then, and if like you pick one option, then you turn to this page.
Oh, it's Choose Your Own Adventure game. The book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it says Goosebumps.
I didn't know they made those.
Yeah, give yourself goosebumps.
Huh.
I'd rather not.
Yeah, I mean, like you just write the story and let me read it. I don't want to make any choices.
Well, normally there's like a ridiculous amount of bad endings and then a couple good endings that were never that great.
You know what you reminded me of? My name is Alan Wake. I'm a writer.
Have you ever played Alan Wake?
Yeah, I got
I
it.
love it.
I got it for free with my Xbox, or one of the Xboxes.
Do you hate it or do you love it? Because it seems like no one ever agrees.
I was just indifferent on it. I played
Yeah.
a couple hours of it, and then I was like, I'm gonna play my other games.
I love it so much.
What makes you love it?
Cause, dude, it's like the closest thing, other than Deadly Premonition, it's the closest thing that we have to like an X-Files Twin Peaks type game.
Sure.
I forgot Deadly Premonition.
Actually, Alan. There's if you've played Deadly Premonition, you know what me and Tom are talking about. But,
Yeah.
the shadow people in Alan Wake, they're actually like scary.
Yeah.
Because like, I don't know, it's just like that. Like there was that one shadow person who like zips around. He zips around like I think it's like a lumberyard.
Yeah.
And and he's talking, but like everything he's saying is like an advertisement of some kind, and that was really creepy to me for some reason.
I like Alan's kind of an idiot.
Yeah.
But his agent is like the only smart person in that game.
Yeah.
As annoying as he is, you know.
Puts the lights on him.
Yeah.
Puts the Christmas lights on him. Yeah, that Alan Wake is a solid game. It does contain some valid spooks.
I mean, it's dated for sure,
Yeah.
but like from afar, it still looks really nice.
I thought that game still looked good, and the last time I played that game was earlier this year, and I feel like only now is it starting to show its age.
Well, and then like I really like the two-step combat. Like shine the light and then shoot them.
Yeah, give
because
them
like
combo.
it makes me feel like a Ghostbuster.
Yeah,
it's great.
I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
What about actual Ghostbusters games though?
Shanee and I have argued about this before. I love the Atari Ghostbusters game. Not the one for Atari, but the one made by Atari last generation. I love that game.
I felt it was really clunky.
Yeah, I disagree.
Is that the game
but
where
we've talked about this before.
Where you're a new Ghostbuster?
Yeah, you're a new recruit. It's got so many references to the original games, written by the writers, voice acted by the voice actor, like by the actors themselves. Like I love it.
Ernie Hudson.
I believe including Ernie Hudson.
Annie Potts.
Yes, Annie Potts.
Neat.
Yeah.
Rick Moranis.
I don't know. I don't know.
A man can dream. Hey, did either of you find BioShock creep?
Yeah. What my roommate, or at the time, the original BioShock came out. He really, really, really was terrified of whale sharks.
Okay.
Which is funny because they're not like
in that game.
They're not predatory, but they are in that game because
Are
if
they?
you
Just the one.
Because if you're walking through the little walkway where it's like a glass dome, there's a whale shark that like just floats nicely by you. It doesn't do anything, just hangs out, and he almost cried. He was so fucking scared.
Wow.
Yet again, talking about things being unnerving, like people moving weird. It's just like people
that game has a lot of people moving weird.
Yeah, I mean that's why the nurses are so fucking scary in the Resident Evil movies.
Silent Hill.
All right, yeah. No, Resident Evil.
Are you talking
Silent
about the nurses with their faces all covered?
Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
BioShock I never thought was that scary, but it's got like a lot of really great like screen caps, like in motion screen caps, right? Like in the first one when you come up on the baby carriage and all that, like everybody remembers that. Even though we all looked at it from a different angle, everybody remembers that shadow, you know, the silhouette and you find the gun and all that. Like, yeah, it's got a lot of moments like that I think are really great.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's BioShock is one of those games that I was talking about where a lot of the scares for me came from like the environment, because like it was always like, you know, what's over there lurking in the shadows, like what's over there waiting to jump out at me, and it never came from it never actually came from like the enemies that were attacking me.
Yeah, because you know it's going to attack you. There's like 3 choices, right?
Yeah. So
Splicer, like, Big Daddy, and like that's about it. Turret.
Yeah, it never came from the enemies attacking me, but like going through that game for the first time, like all that environment, like that sense of foreboding.
But it was also beautiful too.
Yeah. It's probably the best looking game of its time.
It holds up okay.
Yeah. I don't know how that remaster looks. I imagine it looks.
It looks like you remembered BioShock looking. Like it's not fantastic, but it looks okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have a lot of fond memories of games like that. You know, like a lot of fond memories of games that like that kind of elicit that feeling in me. I've also had some games that like when I look back on them though, I feel silly for having been scared of them. Like I got really scared of Splatterhouse 3 when I was younger.
That's funny. But you know, I say it's funny, but like, do you remember when Lone Survivor came out? Like Lone Survivor is a 2D puzzle game, survival horror puzzle game. And like, it's 2D, it's old school pixel art, and a lot of people that year was like, this is the scariest game this year, you know?
Yeah.
So I guess I could see why you'd be scared of Splatterhouse, especially at the time.
Yeah. I mean, keep in mind that I was but a lad.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Lone Survivor was like just maybe 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
Like we had immersive 3D scary games at that point. And people were like, no, this is scarier than the other shit.
And now, like as an adult, you know, I can't speak for how I would have reacted as a child, but as an adult, I can't imagine like finding any kind of spooks in a 2D game.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I'm pretty sure I could pull some up that would give you the creeps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should. Because I'd like to see if that's the case.
Alice Madness Returns.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Tom loves that game.
It is a great game, but I was playing it at a time that I was in the middle of a depression cycle, but I didn't know it, and I didn't know how to like take care of myself during that time. And I felt like I was going crazy.
Yeah.
And I thought that I like kept having these fears, like maybe I'm insane. And
Did you shave off your hair?
And I played that game, and like to have like the doctor and stuff like, American McGee's Alice and Alice Madness Friends, I play like pretty much very like same time frame.
Yeah.
And I just being told you're crazy was terrifying to me. So every time I get like a memory or something, there'd just be a lot of times where it would just like make me really, really uncomfortable and scared, even though it wasn't like a scary game or meant to really scare anybody.
Sure.
You might have bought like one of the editions came with American McGee's Alice.
Yeah, it did. I think the 360 version did.
Well, no, I mean all platforms did, but like I don't know if it was a pre-order thing or if it was just a certain edition.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like even the PC version comes with American McGee's Alice. Only some of them though. Like the digital versions don't. The physical ones do.
But yeah, no,
I think the GOG one does. I don't know.
That's probably why I play them at the same time.
Yeah.
Because that sounds.
I've never played the first one.
Really?
I've watched a lot of gameplay for it, but I've never played it. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's fun.
Tom, do you think that there's a possibility that a game currently exists that could scare you?
Oh, absolutely. I stand by like. So when PSVR was a thing,
Yeah.
we joked like when that was coming out, we joked that like Resident Evil 7
It's gonna kill somebody.
would be the first VR game to kill somebody due to a heart attack.
Yeah.
You know, and I guarantee if I play that in VR, it'll freak me the fuck out.
So we are gonna play that Layers of Fear, and I feel like I've heard many things about that game being pretty frightening.
I've heard great things and horrible things about it, so I guess we'll make up our own mind.
Yeah.
But
What is the horrible that you've heard?
just that it's not scary, it's boring, there's not enough to do, stuff like that, you know. But
Yeah, that game's called Amnesia. So
The Dark Descent.
yeah, that game's called Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
don't you feel like you haven't played enough of that game to make that call?
Yes,
Yeah,
I do feel that way.
me too.
But I don't think I'll be returning to it because I was bored. Shanee, what do you want to plug?
Renaissance Festival.
Yeah.
Mushrooms. Plug mushrooms.
Portobello.
No, you know what? I'm gonna go back to the spooks. I think I've probably mentioned it before, but I like this podcast called Goosebuds, where it's three dudes talking about the Goosebump books.
Oh.
And they go through like the actual storybooks in order, but every now and then there's a episode peppered in that is a give yourself goosebumps adventure, and you get to listen to them as a group. One of them reads, and then people make the decision to go through and see what their adventure's like.
That's pretty cool.
Them and the YouTube channel Drinking with Goosebumps. It's that one. It's also three dudes. One of the guy's sister makes a shot for each book and like gives like a fun name, and then they have to do those shots when there's certain rules met. So you just get to see guys get pretty drunk talking about Goosebumps.
I like watching guys get drunk talking about Goosebumps.
Like there's if the kid's like going to a new school or moved or staying with a relative, if like one of their names is like the same name as one of the characters in the books, just like general tropes of Goosebumps books, and they made rules.
How often does that air? Like a new episode?
I don't know. I don't know what their schedule is.
Because I feel like that's got to be a very tedious podcast to do.
They also seem to enjoy it.
We gotta get drunk again. You know.
One of the guys wears a robe quite a few of the episodes, so I mean he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Goosebuds.
Goosebuds is they also have like their own
Maverick Buds.
subreddit. They're the podcast that is just like funny talk. One of them I followed him doing different other podcasts. One was fantasy fiction, but Dom Moschetti, but they're funny guys. Drinking with Goosebumps is the YouTube one. I'm plugging two things.
You're not allowed to do that.
Did it.
Get ready for questions Shanee won't know the answer to.
What's my middle name?
Everybody knows Tom's middle name. You?
I feel like I probably do.
You don't. So.
I'm just too tired to remember.
That's the show this week, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you once again for listening to us talk about video games. My name is Ryan Robinson. That's Tom Shelby.
Goodbye.
That's Shanee Howard.
Bye, guys.
See you next week.